Leo movie summary in English. Let's begin. Parthiban Parthi is an animal rescuer and cafe owner in Theog, Himachal Pradesh, living with his wife Satya, son Siddharth Siddhu and daughter Mathi Chintu. One day, a forest ranger, Parthi's friend, Joshi Andrews, calls him to help tame a spotted hyena, threatening the townsfolk. With Siddhu's help, Parthi manages to tranquilize the hyena. He purposely avoids public attention over this incident and adopts the hyena after it calms down. One night, Parthi and Chintu face a robbery at a cafe, where he kills the gang members, including Shamagam, protecting Chintu in the process. Initially arrested, Parthi is released for committing the murders in self-defense. After surviving an attack by Shanmugam's relatives, Parthi requests a high-ranking armed police officer from Tamil Nadu for protection. Napoleon, promoted for his heroics in Tiruchirappalli, is assigned to protect his family. Parthi's photograph appears in newspapers all over India because he killed those wanted criminals. One such image is seen by Harold Das, a gangster in Telangana, who informs his elder brother Antony about him. Antony immediately leaves with his men for Theog. On meeting Parthi, Antony insists that Parthi is his son, Leo, who was presumed to be dead, but Parthi vehemently denies this. Antony threatens him to accept his identity and surrender, or face the consequences. Antony meets Satya and tells her that Leo is a mass murderer, prompting her to dig into Parthi's past. At the same time, Joshi starts digging into Leo's past and learns about his friend, Hridayaraj D'Souza, who was arrested and is to be hanged in 3 days. Joshi meets with Hridayaraj, who narrates Leo's alleged past. In 1999, Antony established a tobacco factory called Das & Company. Harold returned to India from Canada and started manufacturing and smuggling a drug named Datura, using the factory as a front as their tobacco products did not take off. Antony's twin children, Leo and Elisa, did the dirty work for them to run the business smoothly. Being a strong believer in the occult, Antony tried to sacrifice Elisa based on his astrologer's advice, as this would have allowed their tobacco products to take off. Enraged, Leo set fire to all of Harold's drugs, but Harold managed to kill Elisa and Antony shot Leo, who was since presumed dead. After listening to Hridayaraj, Joshi is convinced that Parthi is not Leo, while Satya also gets definitive proof. Meanwhile, Antony kidnaps Siddhu and tells him that he will sacrifice Siddhu as he could not sacrifice Elisa with his own hands. Parthi and Napoleon give chase to Antony and his men, and Parthi eventually catches up with them. He finishes off Antony and his men but does not find Siddhu. Harold learns about Antony's death and calls Parthi to bring Antony's body in return for Siddhu. As Parthi goes to Harold's lair, Harold reveals that he has sent men to kill Satya and Chintu. However, Napoleon, Joshi, and the hyena finish off all the men. Harold's men attack Parthi at their lair, but he fends them off. As Harold and Parthi engage in a fistfight, Parthi grabs a gun and holds Harold at gunpoint. At this point, Harold gets convinced that Parthi is not Leo and states that he and his family can walk away freely. However, Parthi starts laughing and finally admits he is Leo before gunning down Harold, rescuing Siddhu and torching the Das & Company factory. Parthi states that he has done nothing good as Leo and anyone who insists on knowing his true identity must die or already be dead. A flashback reveals he admitted his true identity to Antony before killing him. While back in Theog, Parthi gets a phone call. The caller reveals that he knows Parthi is Leo and tells him that destroying only his family's Datura factory was not enough to make society drug-free as drugs are rampant all over India. The caller also says that he knows Parthi recognizes his identity, as Parthi sighs in exasperation. The end.